Configurations can be a very powerful tool in SOLIDWORKS, and we're using the basis of this Lego piece again, in the sense where if we wanted to create, you know, various versions of this Lego piece, one with 6 posts, one with 8 posts, one with 10 posts, one with 2 posts, we don't want to have to keep opening a new part and creating it from the start. Not only does that take time, but we're also, you know, increasing file space for the storage of all these parts. Whereas what we can do is we can use this thing called configurations, where if we have slight variations from the model, as I said, maybe you'll have this, okay, you know, never mind in the Lego for a moment, just say this part was made out of one material, then you could have another part made out of another material. You could use configurations. Here we're going to look at just the changes in length and the number of posts as slight variations, and we're going to use this configuration tree to do that. So there's a configuration manager, and the best thing is everything's stored within the one part. So you just have your general Lego part for its specific width and height, and then, you know, you can have a certain variation in length in your configuration manager. Okay, so you have one part, you have one file, location, numerous kind of part configurations saved within there, and it's very powerful when you see it all happen together. So you will, if you've seen the previous video, I have got some of the dimensions set up that they're driven. You see the length is driven by an equation here, and that is important so that when we do update it, everything just updates very quickly for us, and that does help and aid the configuration. So that's a useful video to check out if you haven't done so. So if we go into configurations, you see you've just got your default configuration saved here, and if I click pause and then click again, I can save this as a 4 post. I just put it all in capital, 4 post configuration. Okay, it's for 4 top posts. If I want to add a new configuration, I right click on the part configurations and go add configuration, and I just put in the name. So we're going to call this one a 6 post. Okay, and you'll see this is the active one because it's highlighted in green. If I go back to this, this is then the active one. So that means any changes I make will be made to this configuration. So I'll go back on my 6 posts, keep that active, and we'll go in, and ultimately we need to change our linear spacing from 4 to go to 6. Now what's important is, okay, when you go into this one, if we just double click on that dimension, you'll see in here, right, we're going to type in 6 because it's 6 is the number of posts we want, but we get an option, a drop down option here now for, do we want to just apply this change to this configuration or to all configurations, or maybe to specific configurations. Maybe this change happens for, you know, maybe 4 out of the 6 configurations that we might have, but no, this is just for this configuration, so make sure that's selected. We just want this change to happen in this configuration. So then when we update it, we click rebuild and update, it only happens for this one. Because you'll see as I go back, it's down in 4. If I didn't click just configuration, this 4 would actually also be a 6 post, which wouldn't make any sense. Okay, so that's why we're just keeping it to that configuration, and it all updates automatically. I now have 2 parts that I can very quickly access within the one file location. And again, I can just right click up here, add another configuration, call this 8 post, save that in. Again, make the change here, but be sure to get into the option, even if I go into the edit feature, be sure that when I make the change, I'm only doing it to this configuration. Okay, so you'll see now I have 6, I have a 4, and I have an 8. And we'll do one more for good measure. We'll call this a 22 post. And then we'll go back in here, linear pattern 1, make it 22, make sure it's just for this specific configuration, click OK, and then rebuild everything to allow it to update. So you can see, really powerful there, way of using configurations to control it. And you'll see even with the 22, everything updates. And we'll do maybe this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we've got the correct length and everything in place. So really good use of configurations there, and that'll help for your drawing specs, and and for other tools within configurations that we'll look at. But for the moment, that's the basic intro to configurations. You can have multiple parts saved there, all within the same file location, and that's how you add a configuration in.